Baker is on the verge of being considered a bust.
Which is why Baker Mayfield is a bust.
Baker Mayfield, as things stand right now, Pierce, do you consider Baker a bust?
2nd and 10. Mayfield to the end zone to Jefferson. Is that possible?
A former number 1 overall pick, once the face of a franchise, and for a moment, it looked like he was the answer. Baker Mayfield came into the league with swagger, fire, and promise. He brought hope to a team that hadn't sniffed the playoffs in nearly 2 decades, but then it all fell apart. Injuries, inconsistency, doubt. He was released before turning 28 years old, cut by the same team that drafted him, signed by the Panthers. In 5 months, he was released again. His career was a shambles. Most people had written him off, said he was done, said he was a bust, said he would even be in the league next year. But on December 8th, 2022, everything changed. With just 2 days of practice, 1 minute and 45 seconds left with no timeouts, Baker led a game-winning 98-yard drive against the Las Vegas Raiders on national TV. That night, he didn't just win a game. He reminded the football world who he really was. The fearless gunslinger, the fired-up leader, the underdog who never quits. He showed us all that he's not done, not finished, not a bust, but he's a future franchise QB who just needed a second chance. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that follow button, turn on them noties, and let's get into it. Baker Mayfield was once the crown jewel of the Cleveland Browns rebuild. The former Heisman winner and number 1 overall pick in the 2018 draft carried with him the swagger, leadership, and arm talent to transform a long-suffering franchise for a while, and he did just that. But the NFL is a brutal league. The highs can be euphoric, the lows, career-killing. The Cleveland Browns were the NFL's biggest punchline. Entering the 2018 draft, the franchise was coming off a winless 0-16 season. They hadn't been to the playoffs since 2002, and they hadn't won a postseason game since 1994. Then came Baker Mayfield, a brash, confident quarterback who walked on twice in college and became a Heisman Trophy winner. The Browns made him the first overall pick in the draft, hoping he'd finally be the one to change everything, and he didn't disappoint. In his rookie season, Mayfield took over in Week 3 after Tyrod Taylor went down and immediately electrified the team in the city. He broke the rookie record for passing touchdowns with just 27 in 13 games and led the Browns to a 7-8-1 record, a massive leap from the year before. By 2020, he led the Browns to an 11-5 season and their first playoff win in 26 years, beating their division rivals, the Steelers and Pittsburgh. Cleveland believed they found their quarterback of the future, their franchise guy. Baker was gritty, confident, tough, and beloved by the fans, but things quickly went downhill. In 2021, expectations were sky high, but everything fell apart. Mayfield suffered a torn labrum in his non-throwing shoulder early in the season while trying to make a tackle. Instead of sitting out, he tried to tough it out, and his play deteriorated, his mechanics were off, his confidence wavered, and the Browns' offense stalled. He finished the year with his 17 touchdown passes and 13 interceptions with a 6-8 record as a starter. Tensions rose between Mayfield and the organization after a public fallout with Odell Beckham Jr. The Browns, once fully behind him, started looking elsewhere. On July 6, 2022, Baker Mayfield was traded to the Carolina Panthers for a conditional 5th-round pick. It was a harsh fall from grace. Just a year prior, he had been a playoff-winning starter. Now he was fighting for his career. In Carolina, things just never clicked. Mayfield was in a new offense under head coach Matt Rule and behind a struggling offensive line. He battled with Sam Darnold and P.J. Walker for snaps, and by week 5, the team had fired Rule. Baker suffered a high ankle sprain and missed multiple weeks. When he returned, the Panthers largely moved on. In the 6 games with Carolina, Mayfield posted a 1-5 record. He only completed 57.8% of his passes and threw 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. And he ended up getting released by the Panthers on December 5th, 2022, just 5 months after being traded. His career was on life support. Most thought he'd fade out the league completely, but then came a twist nobody expected. Just 2 days after being released by the Carolina Panthers, the Los Angeles Rams claimed Baker Mayfield off of waivers. With Matthew Stafford on the injured reserve and John Wolford injured as well, head coach Sean McVay needed a quarterback, and he needed a quarterback fast. Mayfield landed in LA on December 6, 2022. He had less than 40 hours to learn the Rams playbook, terminology, cadence, everything. But on December 8th, the Rams hosted the Las Vegas Raiders on Thursday Night Football. Mayfield was not supposed to play, but he ended up entering early in the first quarter. The Rams offense sputtered for most of the night, and by the fourth quarter, they were down 16-3. Then, Baker took over. With 1 minute and 45 seconds left to go in the game, trailing 16-10 and with no timeouts left, Baker orchestrated a 98-yard game-winning drive.
34-33. Mayfield throws. That's caught. That's a first down. Here's Skoranek to the 22nd and 10. Mayfield to the end zone to Jefferson. Is that possible? Touchdown.
He threw a back shoulder to Van Jefferson in the back corner of the end zone for the go-ahead touchdown with just 10 seconds left. The Rams won 17-16. That drive, just 2 days after joining the team, was one of the most improbable moments in recent NFL memory. Analysts were stunned, teammates were shocked, McVay was in disbelief. Baker just wasn't playing quarterback, he was rewriting the narrative around his career. After the historic win against the Raiders, Mayfield started 4 more games for the Rams. Though the team was already out of playoff contention by then, he showed flashes of confidence and poise that hadn't been seen since the early days in Cleveland. In total, he started 5 games for LA, finishing with 850 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. He wasn't spectacular, but he was solid, and most importantly, he looked like he belonged in the league again. Most teams now saw Baker not as a washed-up bust, but a backup with potential, or even a low-risk starter. He had finally earned another shot he'd been yearning for. In March 2023, Baker signed a 1-year, $4 million contract with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who were entering their first season post-Tom Brady. Many saw it as a placeholder move. Tampa had Kyle Trask on their roster, and some believed the Bucs were headed for a rebuild. Baker had other plans. He won the starting job out of training camp and immediately brought energy to the locker room. Under new head coach Dave Canales, the Bucs offense under new head coach Dave Canales was built on quick reads, movement, and taking care of the ball. A perfect fit for Mayfield. In the 2023 regular season, Baker had one of the best years of his career. In those 16 games, Baker finished the season with 4,044 yards, 28 passing touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He had a completion rate of 64.3, a passer rating of 94.6, and a record of 9-8, crowning themselves the NFC South champions. Nobody expected the Bucs to be in the playoffs, but Baker led them there. And then he ended up leading them to a wild-card victory over the Philadelphia Eagles, throwing for 337 yards and 3 touchdowns. In the divisional round, they fought hard, but lost to the Detroit Lions. Still, Mayfield had done more than just play well. He had led, inspired, and proved that he was more than a journeyman. By the end of the 2023 season, Baker just wasn't a reclamation project, he was the guy in Tampa. The Buccaneers had found their quarterback. They didn't hesitate. On March 10, 2024, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers signed Baker Mayfield to a 3-year, $100 million extension, including $50 million guaranteed. It was the ultimate comeback story. From being unwanted in Cleveland, discarded in Carolina, and nearly forgotten by the league, to again being a franchise quarterback with security and belief behind him. Baker's career has always been more about the stats. It's been about the heart, fire, and resilience. He walked on in college twice. He was doubted before he ever reached the league. He was booed, injured, criticized, traded, and cut. But every single time, he responded. Mayfield may never be a top 5 quarterback, but he's a gamer, a leader, a fighter, and now a face of the franchise for the Bucs to have for many more years. But that's gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. If you like this video, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that follow button, turn the noties on, drop in the comments what you think about this video, and I love y'all boys, and I'm out. Peace.